Henry, mate, it's great to have you back, and I'm so excited for you to wow me with some more iconic cards that I've never seen before as we continue this journey through the Sun and Moon era. How are you doing, though? Are you excited to try and make me look dumb?
Doing good, Tim. It's been a long time since yesterday that we talked. Let's leak that to the viewers. Yeah, good. We've got a few more interesting ones. I think we get to complete the Sun and Moon era.
All right, we'll see if you catch me off guard with some of these ones. All right, let's get right into it. I can see you've set one already.
So we're going to start with Pheromosa Buzzwole.
Pheromosa Buzzwole. So Pheromosa and Buzzwole GX. It's a basic. Is this the second tag team that we've looked at? I think so.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. So tag teams worth 3 prizes. I got to keep that in mind. They're like the VMAXs, and it's got 260 HP. Grass type. For 1 grass, we got Jet Punch for 30. This attack does 30 damage to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. And then we got 2 grass and a colorless. Elegant Soul, 190. During your next turn, this Pokemon's Elegant Soul attacks base damage is 60. Okay, so you're doing like 130 less, is that right?
Sounds about right.
That's an interesting way of wording it. I feel like I haven't seen it written that way, but... And then we've got the big GX attack. 1 grass plus for Beast Game. 50 damage. If your opponent's Pokemon is knocked out by damage from this attack, take 1 more prize card. This Pokemon has at least 7 extra energy attached to it. In addition to this cost, take 3 more prize cards instead. Okay, I gotta ask, was there some like insane grass acceleration, or are you just manually attaching for 8 turns?
There wasn't insane grass acceleration, there was medium grass acceleration.
Okay, so it's not like there was a Baxcalibur for grass Pokemon.
No.
Okay, but like taking an extra prize is still pretty good. Like 1 grass for 50. You know, if there's a little guy sitting around, you just drop this, take an extra prize.
It's no amp you very much, but it's okay.
I mean, yeah, it's 1 grass though. If amp you very much was 1 lightning, like I wouldn't complain. I'd take the 50 damage.
Yeah.
You know, there's probably some kind of way to damage mod or like set up damage. It's not bad. You know, first attack's also like kind of fine. I don't like the second one as much.
No.
I don't know. 190 doesn't feel like. I guess it's like enough to kill like your Tapu Leles. That's not bad.
Not too bad.
Does the second effect go away if you like switch out, or is it stuck to this Pokemon regardless of where it goes?
If you switch out, yeah.
Okay, it's not bad. Not bad.
Yeah.
3 prizes though, like. Oh, that's a lot. That's going to get me with a lot of these tag teams, I think. 3 prizes feels like a lot. And I don't think you're never doing 8 grass energy on this guy. That's not happening. Like, you win the game if you do it, but I don't think that ever happens. But taking an extra prize is about, like, I think there's 1 prize dex going around. I like stealing the extra prize, but I think I'm not that impressed by it. I don't think this is like that good. It's like, maybe it's okay. Maybe you like put it in a deck if you're not using a GX attack and you just want to like randomly steal an extra prize, but it's not screaming to me. If you show me like Baxcalibur for grass energy, I'll believe it.
Do you think it ever won a tournament?
I don't think it ever won a tournament. Nah, I reckon maybe a top 8 or something, like a one-off. Just like sits there and, I don't know, depending on the grass Pokemon, I guess. But I could see it being like, you know, if you're not using a GX attack, it seems pretty solid to finish something off. But yeah, I don't think it ever won a tournament.
Okay, so worth factoring in, it is an Ultra Beast, so much like the Ancient and Future stuff, it does have support for like the keyword. The main thing though is that this is a bit of a trick one. So it never won a tournament in the West. It won a tournament in Japan. So it won, as soon as it came out, it dominated the biggest tournament in Japan. It was pretty much the best deck in format. But we didn't get the card until their next set had already come out. So we got it 3 sets at once from Japan, as we normally do. And by the time it had come out, the fire themed support set had come out. And so Pheromosa Buzzwole existed pretty much only as a deck in Japan, because by the time it came out, it just got destroyed by all the meta fire decks. So it was really good for the 8 energy beast game did actually happen because of a card called Beast Ring, which you may have heard of before, which is the way that it accelerated all the energy. And so it made the deck really strong. And basically you would just play 4 Pheromosa Buzzwole, and then once they knock out one of them, then you're down to 3 prizes, and then you can suddenly use tons of Beast Ring at once, and you could power up your Beast game for 4 prizes.
So, sorry, I'm just reading Beast Ring now. So this is just Mirage Gate for your Ultra Beast if you got 3 or 4 prizes remaining, or if your opponent has 3 or 4. Okay, so that seems like a pretty good way to win the game. You know, if you're going to take 4 prizes anyway.
And it's pretty good.
Okay, interesting. If your opponent has Okay, yeah, that card seems pretty broken then. I can see the acceleration for it. So I didn't think about the weakness, because yeah, I guess I don't really know what's going around at this time. So if fire is a pretty relevant weakness, then yeah, it gets a lot worse when you're giving up, you know, effectively 130 HP three prizer.
Yeah, and I mean, 3 prizes were totally fine if they weren't getting 1 shot. If 3 prizes were getting 1 shot, then you got a problem. So as soon as weakness comes in, they really struggle.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to say that it never won a tournament because, Japan, best of one Mickey Mouse format.
So yeah, it's kind of weird. In a vacuum, it was really good, but then it didn't quite make it. And then it was played as a one-of in decks with Rainbow Energy for a little bit, just to be able to take that extra prize like we talked about. But by and large, not massively played.
So, but in the in the West, then did anyone ever use that 8 energy attack, or just like that kind of one-off? All right, good. I was glad I was right on that.
All right, next up, we're gonna have a card from the same set, but not a tag team this time. Before we go back into them, we've got Honchkrow GX. Tell me, Tim, what do you think about a Honchkrow?
So Honchkrow GX, it's a stage 1 GX, 210 HP. So I believe that's the same stats as Zoroark, even the same type, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Ruler of the Night for the ability. As long as this Pokemon is in your active... as long as this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, your opponent can't play any Pokemon Tool, Special Energy, or Stadium cards from their hand. Okay, so that's like the... there's been a few attacks like that, actually. Like it's very similar to Shadow Rider Calyrex, I know, had that attack, the V. And then, obviously, the Noivern now has a pretty similar attack with Special Energy and Stadiums. Mm-hmm. Got Featherstorm for 1 dark, 2 colorless, 90 damage. This attack does 30 damage to 2 of your opponent's benched Pokemon. Pokemon GX and EX, so it can't snipe little guys, right?
Yes, can't snipe
little guys. That's still pretty relevant, though, especially because you're saying if we're not one-shotting things, it softens them up, and then you can actually finish them off. An Unfair GX. All right, this is going to be like Unfair Stamp, 2 colorless. Your opponent reveals their hand, discard 2 cards from it. That's pretty good. That is pretty good for a controlling deck. You stick this guy active. Now, there is a lot of Guzma running around. I know this now. So you can gust around it, but if you just have Honchkrow GX and nothing else, and if there are decks out there that only use Special Energy, they can't play the game, right, if you evolve.
Yeah.
Although it's a stage 1, so if they're going, kind of like Noivern now, if you get to attach and attack before they set up, like you can kind of run them over. It's not the most reliable, but I do like that Unfair GX as well. That's pretty cool. Like you drop some kind of hand disruption, you do something else, you get rid of that. Now their hand is just tools, Special Energies, and Stadiums. That's kind of bad. Kind of bad for them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I like that it's on the ability. That is cool. So you can like actually deal damage, because the one I'm used to is Shadow Rider Calyrex in my head, where it just did 10 damage at a time.
Do it.
But this is quite a lot. This is pretty relevant damage. I think this is actually like all right. I could see a deck for this. Like not like something super meta, but if there's a lot of Special Energy running around, I could see it being good. Or you tech it in as like a 1/1 in like a walling control kind of deck. I don't think you played quad Honchkrow like you played quad Thorns. Maybe you did. I don't know. But because it evolves, it's a bit weaker. Like you can still gust up the Murkrow, I assume, and get around it in that way. Whereas quad Thorns, you just stick them all down. So, but I think like a 1/1 line just to be a bit cheeky. Yeah, I think this card seems pretty solid.
Okay.
And I like the double colorless on. I feel like that's like a bit of a theme. Double colorless being in a lot of attack costs.
Yeah, it was a really big thing then. We're going to do this one slightly differently. I'm going to show you another card that links with Honchkrow, and you're going to tell me if you think then it was any better than you think, or whether you think it wasn't very good. So we're going to look at Duststone.
Okay, we have Duskstone. It's an item. Search your deck for a Mismagius, Honchkrow, Chandelure, or Aegislash, including Pokemon GX, that evolves from one of your Pokemon in play, and put it onto that Pokemon to evolve it. Then shuffle your deck. You can use this card during your first... Okay, this card's broken. You can use this card during your first turn on a Pokemon that's put into play. Okay, yeah, you just lock them. Wait, so this gets around exactly what I was saying, where it's like, it kind of sucks it's a stage 1, you can gust up the Murkrow, you can get around the lock. No, this is broken. This is very good. I could see a quad Honchkrow deck. I'd play quad Honchkrow. Just lock them out of Special Energy. They can't play the game. You've probably got some kind of basic energy. Oh, there's not usually much basic energy hate, but you figure something out for that, it's fine.
Okay, so final verdict. This card was not very good. This card was kind of terrible. Duststone was really cool, but Honchkrow didn't unfortunately see very much play. It saw exactly one top 8, I think, as like a very specific counter as a 1/1, like you mentioned. I can't remember what deck it was. I think it was some random Rogue Stuntis deck. And I think it was designed just to counter Zoroark decks that only played double turbo. But it never really saw much play. Otherwise, it never really attacked. It didn't do very much. Unfortunately, people really liked it because it was a control-y card, but by the time that it came out, the damage had already increased, and so one-shots were becoming more prevalent, so unfortunately, Honchkrow didn't quite make it.
Oh, that's a shame. Yeah, I guess if there's enough basic energy decks going around that can one-shot it, it does kind of start to suck, but I think I could break it. Take me back.
You reckon?
Yeah, I'll make it work.
Okay.
Quad Honchkrow.
Now, I don't know if you ever heard me talk about this one, but it's a pretty cool tag team, and tell me what you think.
I feel like I have heard you mention it. I don't remember ever fully reading it though. And can I put you on record then? You said tag teams are pretty cool. Is that a hot take? Like, did people didn't like these, right?
Tag teams were, I don't think tag teams had any issue really. I don't think they affected the health of the game because they didn't one-shot each other very commonly. At least not more than once a game. And so you still had the 3 turn length games that, you know, most games have now. But there was still plenty of nuance. There was some healing. And also, I just think they didn't get too bad until Station came out in Sword and Shield.
Okay, yeah, all right. That's that makes sense from what I've heard. All right, we got Garchomp and Giratina GX, 270 HP Dragon type, which is weak to Fairy. I gotta remember that. And for 1 colorless, linear attack does 40 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. 1 Psychic, 1 Fighting, and 1 colorless, Calamitous Slash, 160 plus. If your opponent's active Pokemon already has any damage counters on it, this does 80 more damage. Okay, so you can just linear attack and then Calamitous Slash, and that one-shots everything. That's pretty good. Or it does 280, which I assume gets everything if this has 270. And then Psychic, Fighting Plus, GG and GX. Discard one of your opponent's Pokemon and all cards attached to it. If this attack has at least 3 extra fighting energy attached to it, in addition to this attack's cost, discard 2 of your opponent's Pokemon instead. Okay, so this is like that Sylveon GX that you showed me, except that was to hand and this one's to discard, which is way better to discard them. But 3 extra fighting energy, so you got to have 6 energy on this guy.
Oh yeah.
That is a lot of energy. 6 energy. Like I can't picture anything currently that you'd ever stick 6 energy on other than like a Chen Pao. But I could do kind of like the attack. That's not a bad rate. Like if you have a way to spread damage, maybe you're playing the what was it, the Tapu Koko? You play that and then you hit, this one's hitting for 260, or sorry, 240 plus the 20. That's pretty good. That's like enough to kill a lot of things.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
Yeah, I don't mind that. Nothing's like super sticking out to me. I guess you can use GGN for 1 as well, and 3 energy is fine. And it's just like if you happen to have 6, that's all right. Like I'm kind of locking in on getting the full value out of it, but you don't really have to. Discard one of your opponent's Pokemon. It is one of your opponent's Pokemon, not one of their benched Pokemon, which is something that Regigigas has now, which is a big difference because sometimes you just want to get rid of what's in their active. So I like that too. But it is also an attack, not an ability. I've definitely heard people talk about this card, but now I'm seeing it, I'm like, I can kind of see it being good. I'd have to know the numbers more, I think. I reckon it's solid, but I think maybe there's some support that I need to see afterwards. You'd be like, oh yeah, but there was also this card that says give your Garchomp and Giratina GX 6 energy for free, and
that would be pretty good.
That would be pretty good. Yeah, I mean, it seems like solid. Like they seem like pretty good stats. I mean, if the game's slower as well, linear attack, Calamitous Slash, I like that combo. That's killing a lot of things, and it's a colorless too. So yeah, I think pretty solid. I don't think it's like I think it's like all right. Like it wasn't like an S tier deck. It didn't like dominate every tournament for the whole format. I'm not saying that. Like it just doesn't seem that incredible. But maybe if there's some stuff with GGN, that's where I'm like seeing the source.
Okay, interesting.
All right, yeah, I've got your audio for the first part though, so I'll just put a note that it gets fixed.
Pretty good observations. Interesting about GGN. Before we continue, do you think that the plus part of GGN was ever used? You got it wrong on Buzzmosa, kind of. What about Tina Shop?
I don't think it was. I think 6 is just a lot. Like 3 is fine though. Like if you're running them out of resources, or they've got 7 energy on their Buzzwole Pheromosa, and they're about to get the combo, and you're like, actually I delete this for 3. Like that's pretty good. 6 is a lot. I don't think you get 6 unless it like tanks a hit and you just happen to get there. But I reckon most of the time you're not using the plus.
Okay, you'll be right. So we did not use the plus. It was a deck, and it was a meta deck when it came out. It was very good. The set afterwards, and it kind of came out of nowhere. It was a fantastic, almost quad Giratina Garchomp deck, but it used a friend of Duskstone. So it used this Miss Magius. Now, Miss Magius kind of similar in concept to Dusknoir, which you might be familiar with. You can knock itself out and then draw until 7, but with Duskstone, obviously, you can straight away. Now, this meant not only did you get a draw engine, but if you were only playing tag teams, you could use 2 Miss Magius, and they just basically didn't matter. They were just free. You got to disrupt your opponent's hand lower with Reset Stamp, which is the guy I know. And also, you got to put yourself behind to be able to use Counter Catcher and also Counter Gain. So that was kind of your energy acceleration. You played a very slow, control-y game. And this deck was pretty much one of the rare examples of attacking control. So it played 4 of the Ability Lock Stadium, which is like Path to the Peak, but Power Plant. And the idea was you just slowly set things up with linear attack, and if they have one big threat, you go GG end, you stamp them really low, and then you just sweep with your second Giratina Garchomp.
Okay, so it sounds like it almost played not quite like it, but similar prize mapping at least to that old Duraludon VMAX deck where it's like, all right, you killed my Arceus for 2 prizes, now here's 2-3 prizes, deal with it. You have to take 8 prizes to win the game.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm just reading this Miss Magius now, so yeah, stage 1, but the Dust Stone makes it functionally a basic almost. And yeah, you can knock it out and draw until you have 7 in hand, which is ridiculous. On like that's crazy.
Pretty good.
Why did they print this? That's
it actually ended up getting banned. So there you go.
Really?
Yep. One of the last cards that got. I think it was the last card that got banned.
Yeah, I was gonna say because I've never seen a card get banned in Pokemon the whole time I've been playing. So yeah, good. Probably good to actually ban this, and I guess it makes a bit more sense why everyone was kind of like, we should ban Duster. I'm like, this card seems fine. Pokemon doesn't need to ban anything, but maybe if this was Duster, I'd be agreeing, and if they had Dust Stone too.
Yeah, so it was pretty cool if you ask me. So I really liked both Giratina Garchomp and Miss Magius.
I mean, that's a really cool way to think about it. I hadn't thought about the prize mapping too. Of if you just feed them 2 prizes, and you stick two big fat tag teams on the board, like they have to get through 8 prizes, just like the VMAXs. Yeah,
pretty good. All right, so next one we're gonna do another tag team. Go straight with Gardevoir Sylveon. So fairy type again, something you're not quite used to.
Alright, so we got basic Gardevoir and Sylveon GX, 260 HP. Seems like, about the range, 260, 270 for a lot of these tag teams. For 1 colorless, Fairy Song, search your deck for up to 2 Fairy Energy and attach them to your benched Pokemon in any way you like. So you can't attach to the active, you can't power this one up with it, you can power up your benched one. And then we've got 2 Fairy and a colorless, Kaleido Storm, 150. Move any number of energy from your Pokemon to your other Pokemon any way you like. Okay, bit of synergy there. You set up some energy on the bench, then you can move it around. And for 3 Fairy plus Magical Miracle GX, 200 damage. If this Pokemon has at least 3 extra Fairy energy, so that's 6 total, attached to it, your opponent shuffles their hand into their deck. Sorry, that's the end of the sentence. they don't draw more cards.
That's it.
They don't get to draw 1 for each of their prizes. They have no.
Nope.
And it does 200 damage.
Yep.
That is so okay. I'm looking back at like the Honchko, for example, and it's just like, oh yeah, discard 2 and nothing. Discard 2, nothing else, no damage. This is killing their active and then deleting their hand. This card's broken.
6 Fairy energy.
What? No, you just Fairy Song, like it's fine. I could just keep spamming Fairy Song and then I just do this once and I win the game. Like,
yeah.
Who printed it? Why is there a full stop there, Henry? I want to know why there's a full stop and it doesn't give them any treats.
Listen, we need proper punctuation. That's all they need.
You just have to top. Was there cards around this format kind of like a Barrel where it's like this, or like a Pidgeot, this onboard draw engine where it's like, I don't actually care if I have 0 cards in hand. I'll just quick search or research.
Not many decks. Some, but not many.
Right. Oh, there's the Zoroark showed me. So it's like you top deck. I don't like it. Trade it away. Got 2 more. Don't like these. Trade them away. But no, this still seems like really, really good because also 200 damage. That is not quite enough to kill a tag team, but like with any damage mod, that's knocking out another GX. So you knock out their powered up active, no hand. Look, I think if you could get that 6 Fairy energy, you just win. And Fairy Song, not the best way to do it, but like it's a basic, you can just do it. You couldn't attack on your first turn going first, right? I should have clarified that.
Yes, you could not attack.
Yeah. Just when you're going, but like, you go second, now you've got 3 Fairy energy in play and you're almost there. You do it one more time, you've got it.
Yep.
I think good. I think good card. There's too much good text on that GX attack for someone not to find a way to get 6 energy. I think it's good.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. It wasn't probably ever like the BDIF, but it was always pretty like tier 1.5. And it actually was really good because of these really annoying cards as well, and these Fairy Charms. So there were one for like a bunch of different types, and one for ability, and one for Ultra Beats. And it just basically said that the Fairy Pokemon it's attached to can't be affected by attacks from GX or EX Pokemon with that trait. So it could be Dragon type, Lightning type, abilities. When you're also tanking with healing, and you're also obviously building up to Magical Miracle, it's a pretty strong deck.
Wait, so this is like, it basically gives Mimikyu's ability, like that safeguard to all your fairy, or to any fairy type you want.
Safeguard with a caveat. So this one is, you can't be affected by Pokemon GX or EX with abilities. And then there was a Fairy Charm Lightning, which would block Lightning GX and EX.
Okay, right, I see that. But that's still, that's still really good. Any way to slow them down while you set up to automatically win the game because they have no hand and you knocked out their attacker. Yeah, that's crazy. I can't believe the sentence ended. They just... I think someone was writing this card and they just forgot. And they're like, oh, leave it as.
I think it's fair enough. All right, we've covered a bunch of tag teams. Let's take a break. And let's go into 2 trainer cards back to back. So let's start with Green's Exploration. The last trainer, big supporter we saw was Lily. And that ended up being a staple later on. What about Greens?
You can play this card only if you have no Pokemon with abilities in play. Search your deck for up to 2 trainer cards, reveal them, and put them into your hand. Then shuffle your deck. Okay, so search any 2 trainer cards. That is a very good effect. People play Arven and Irida in decks to just search one item, basically. Like Goldango is doing that, Like they don't care about the water Pokemon really. It's just there as a side. They're searching for one item. This is 2 trainer cards. You have to have no abilities.
You do.
But I've been seeing some pretty good Pokemon that have no abilities. I'm seeing, because like these tag teams things, I'm looking at them. They're not abilities. They're just attacks, right? So I could play Gardevoir Sylveon. I could play Garchomp and Giratina. I could play my Hunch. Oh no, I can't play my Hunch Predator. Don't worry. I can't play that one. I can play it in Pheromosa Buzz. I can play Pheromosa Buzzwole. I can use Green's Exploration.
Yeah.
The Green's Exploration, and I can find 2 of the Beast Rings.
Sure can.
Am I cooking? Is
Sure
this good? Like,
oh yeah.
2 trainer cards. I think like this kind of targeted search, and it's so broad. Well, 2 trainer cards. You can just get, if you only need 1, you just grab a supporter. You grab another Green's Exploration for next turn.
Now he's figured it out.
You just play 4 of these, and you just don't care. You have everything you want all the time, as long as there's like enough. As long as you're not playing like Zoroark or something and you're just playing a deck that doesn't need abilities to function. You can't play Tapu Lele though. You can't play Tapu Lele to find this. Well, you can. You can. You just can't. You just can't use it.
Well, you could put a power plant in play, which was the equivalent of Parts of the Peak, and you could turn off your own Lele's ability and then you.
Okay. I could Greens 4 power plant so that I could use Tapu Lele
to get the
and then
next
find
Greens.
Greens and then power plant. I've cooked it. Okay.
There we go.
No, this seems very good. I think this is an effect that is definitely worth building your deck around. You might have to sacrifice a bit of, Pokemon consistency with the abilities, maybe some fancy stuff, but like I'm seeing enough tag teams that don't have abilities that can work as the core attacker that like you don't need a draw engine. You have this. This is broken.
Oh yeah.
I think this is very, very good. I think Arven is insane for item plus Forest Sealstone, and this is even better.
Yeah, I think it's insane. It was really good. It was in a ton of different decks. A lot of quad decks, which were very cool, like the quad Gardevoir and Sylveon. The Garchomp and Giratina deck actually was a Greens deck, even though it had Miss Magius, because Magius could remove itself from the board. But then you could play Greens again. Buzzmosa, the Pheromosa Buzzwole, was also a Greens deck when it was played in Japan. There was Greens Reshizard, there was Greens so many decks. And it was really good. And I think it's really cool to like give this really powerful effect with a restriction. And it kind of made for creative deck building and gave some cards tools others. So Greens, excellent card.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting with the quad decks. There's not really many of them now. You got quad Thorns. That's kind of about it. Yeah. I think, it's really cool as a restriction though, especially when there seems like there were some really powerful Pokemon abilities. You have to make that choice. Like, do I play Tapu Lele or do I play Greens for my engine? So yeah, really cool.
Now, second trainer card. What do we think about Welder?
We got Welder. It's a supporter. Attach up to 2 fire energy cards from your hand to one of your Pokemon. If you do, draw 3 cards. Okay, well, this one is Gardenia's, right? It's just... Well, Gardenia's is draw 2 and then attach the grass, but, like, you never want to use it hoping you draw into the grass. That's the only real difference.
Yeah.
Is that, you get to draw first in case maybe I've got 1 grass in hand. I just kind of hope there's one in the top 2. Drawing 3 is better. I like drawing 3. And also, I've heard that there is some fire Pokemon with, that's why Buzzwole Pheromosa never made it to the West, so... I'm gonna take that hint a little bit. Sounds like there's some good fire Pokemon, because I think Gardenia's, I still think it is a very good card. It's just that all the grass Pokemon kind of suck. Like, no one really wants to play Gardenia's in their deck. There's just not enough payoff for it. But I still think the card is, like, on paper really good, especially with, like, when they printed Earthen Vest, like, you're trying to make it work with things. Because I'm like, this has to be good. And it just kind of sucks because there's no good grass attackers. So I think very dependent on if there are fire attackers, but it sounds like there were some pretty good ones. It's also not just a fire Pokemon.
No.
Okay.
It's not just a fire Pokemon, and it's also...
So I can play Zoroark.
Very importantly, there's another restriction. Have you missed it? That's missing from this one that's on Gardenia.
Oh, benched.
Yeah.
This can attach to your active. That is a massive part of it.
Yeah.
Another part that Gardenia's probably isn't quite as good. Wow, yeah, no, that's another big part. And drawing 3, I think. That extra card matters more than you think.
Sure does.
But yeah, both of them attached to anything. I think, yeah, I'm going to play Zorak GX with Welder, power it up that way. And I can get around the Honchkrow decks because, you know, now I'm playing basic energy, not special.
Yeah.
I think if fire Pokemon are good, I think this is good. Because I think it just seems like a stronger version of Gardenias to me, which is a card I honestly think is good. It's just held back by a lack of good attackers that could use it. Okay. So no, I think it seems pretty good. Attached 2 fire energy, yeah, 3, and especially some of these big GX attacks, like you can get some huge attacks where we need 6 energy on it. Like that's really good. Wait a sec. Oh no, I went back to read Gardevoir Sylveon. I was hoping it was 3 extra colorless, but no, it is fairy. Damn. But like I'm sure there were some big GX attacks that you could enable with this. Okay. Definitely.
Yeah, interesting. All right, so what's the final verdict?
Seems good. If they're a good fire Pokemon. If they're a good fire Pokemon and there are good Pokemon that can use this, they don't have to be fire. They can just have double colorless attacks.
Yep.
Then yeah, I think this is just kind of an engine on its own. Draw 3, not incredible, but it's good enough. It's like Sada's, but even better.
Yeah. So, you would be correct. This was probably one of the strongest cards ever printed in the Pokemon trading card game. There was enough support to enable fire Pokemons. Like you said, there were good fire attackers. There was also Giant Hearth, which is basically Earthen Vessel on a stadium, but it only got fire energy. So again, prioritizing fire Pokemon. And it did. So it won the World Championships in 2019. It also came second at the World Championships in 2019. It also came third and fourth and placed 2 out of the top 8 decks further on. So there were a total of 24, I can do maths, 24 copies of Welder in top 8 out of a maximum of 32, and it's copies of 16 out of 16 in top 4, the maximum amount.
That is insane. Okay, that is even better than I was thinking. Like, that's ridiculous. Okay, wow, yeah, this card insane. So you're saying Giant Hearth as well, though. So what does that read exactly? Stadium.
So you may discard a card from your hand and get 2 fire energy from your deck.
Oh, so yeah, Earthen Vessel, but it's like Stadium, so you can use it as a Stadium bump, get rid of their stuff, get rid of their black market, you know, highly played card. And yeah, those one-sided Stadium effect, like functionally one-sided, are really powerful, because your opponent probably doesn't get any use unless they're also playing Welder, but it sounds like everyone was playing it. Did this come out like right before Worlds then? This whole fire package?
The fire package came out 3 months prior, and it did quite well, but then it got better at Worlds because the Stadium then came out.
Oh, okay, so Stadium
only came out
put it all together.
There you go. There's one other really big thing as well that made Welder really good, and what made Giant Hearth really good, is that at the moment, if you have, let's say you're playing Squawkabilly, and you have Earthen Vessel in your hand, and you're going to Squawk, you're going to lose that Vessel. But if you were going to put the Vessel into the Stadium spot and then discard your hand, it gives you way more flexibility with when you draw your combo piece, because it stays in play. So there was one card, now I didn't give you this as a guess because it's just so obvious it's going to be broken. There was this card, Dedenne GX. And this was, again, one of the most broken cards ever printed. Please feel free to have it ready.
Alright, we got Dedenne GX, basic. I've heard of this one. 160, lightning type Pokemon. Ability, Dedenne Charge. When you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench during your turn, you may discard your hand and draw 6 cards. You can't use more than one of these each turn. So yeah, it's much like a lot like Squawkabilly, but not just on your first turn. You have to play it down, so it's not an ability that you activate like Squawkabilly's. It's kind of like the Crobat V, I guess, similar to that, but even better because you're always getting those 6 fresh cards. You don't get like hand locked with 5 dead unplayable cards. Did the attacks matter? Lightning, Colorless, Static Shock 50, Tingly Return GX 50. Your opponent's active Pokemon is paralyzed. Wait, that's actually kind of good.
It's actually not bad, right? It's actually not bad.
Yeah, put this active Pokemon. So they're paralyzed. Put this Pokemon all cards attached into your hand, and you just use it again. You use Dedenne Charge again. Okay, that's kind of good.
Yeah.
You can only do it once a game. You have to maybe give up your other GX attack, but that's cool. Yeah, obviously a broken card, but yeah, I guess there's kind of like turbo-y Welder decks, and I can see that. And you're a really good point with that. Compared to Earthen Vessel, you can play it down, and much like an Artisan as well. Then you draw your 6 cards, and then you decide, okay, yeah, I want to search it out now.
Yeah.
Or maybe I want to search it before because I want them in the discard for whatever reason. I want to thin out. That's really cool.
Yeah, really, really big. Fantastic card all around. We're going to look at a couple more before we get to the big ones at the end. We're going to look at this, but I wonder whether you're going to think this is a bait or not. Stellar Wish Jirachi.
All right, we got basic Jirachi, 70 HP. This ability, Stellar Wish. All right, I can't play greens with it. I don't care about it. Once during your turn, before you attack, if this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, you may look at the top 5 cards of your deck, reveal a trainer card you find there, and put it into your hand. Then shuffle your other cards back in your deck. Okay, this Pokemon's now asleep. That's a little bit annoying because you can't retreat while asleep, right?
No.
Okay, that's a little bit annoying, but it is trainer card. And I remember the Mysterious Tail Mew. I think that was top 6 and find an item, and that was really good. I really liked that card. You just throw one of them in there, and even in like Gardevoir and stuff, anything that you can treat it. But it didn't go to sleep, and the sleep seems a little bit annoying. But I like that you can find any trainer card, so you can get your supporters, you can get your stadiums, your giant hearths. You can get a lot as long as you have a way to switch. Well, you play Guzma and everything, right? So I just Stellar Wish find Guzma, and then it's fine that it's asleep. So that seems pretty good. Top 5 is not quite as good as top 6, but it's still solid.
Yeah.
And you can use more than one Stellar Wish a turn, can't you?
You can, yeah.
This is pretty good. This is Lost Ball. This is like Comfy.
It is.
This is giving me Comfy vibes, and I really like Comfy. And like, yeah, I wouldn't care if Comfy put itself to sleep. You're only hard retreating once a turn. You just play a bunch of switches to enable it. No, and you can find support. I can find my Chorus in the top 5. I'm just playing like Pokegear, but better. No, I think this is good. I think the fact that you can find supporters is like a big part of this too. Like,
yeah.
Because that just kind of gets the whole engine going. You draw 3 off your welder or something. And no, I think good. I wonder how much going to sleep mattered, because you can't hard retreat it. But I'm sure you just played Guzma and other switching cards. I reckon it was fine. No, it seems like a really good card. Maybe not. I'd rather play greens. I like greens a little bit more than this.
Me too.
But this seems like a way to select some flowers. So I'd say a pretty good card. You can definitely make an engine out of it because yeah, more than one Stellar Wish a turn.
Yeah, really common back then. Super common. Even just as a pivot, like after a hand disruption, strong. There was basically rescue board. There was what was it called? Escape board. There we go. That's the one. Similar to rescue board, except it let you retreat if you were asleep. So -1 retreat, and you could retreat asleep.
So was that free retreat, and you can retreat if you're asleep?
Yep, -1 retreat.
That is that's crazy. Did they come out at the same set? I assume it was just like that's a little cute package.
Yeah, they were around at the same time.
Oh, as in like in the very same set though, or was there a time where like one existed without?
Let me have a quick check. I'm pretty sure they did, but I'll just double check to make sure. No, the escape board was already around.
Okay, did Jirachi still kind of see some play without the board then? Because that's what I'm interested in.
It did because Scoop Up Net was around then.
Yes, Scoop Up Net.
Scoop Up Net Jirachi was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Because I remember Scoop Up Net Comfy, and this seems even better.
It was pretty good. So we could go forever with this because there were so many cool cards, and maybe we'll have to revisit even more. But with 3 more left, check out Espeon and Deoxys GX.
Espeon and Deoxys GX. Right. I just want to say I really like this art. Was this like this was like a full art or alt art, right?
So this was a promo, and it didn't come out until much later on. But this is very cool. So here I've got the regular one in my hands. But yes.
Okay, yeah, I really like that art more than anything else. I don't care about the card. I would play it just to have this art. Yeah. Espeon and Deoxys GX, 260 HP Psychic type, weak to Psychic. That's something I have to keep remembering. I feel like everything now, all the Psychics are weak to Dark, but
yeah.
Seems like a lot of Psychics are weak to Psychic back then. Psychic Club. Is that club in reference to hitting, or like they just got a gang hanging out? 1 Psychic and 2 colorless, 10+. This attack does 30 more damage for each of your bench Psychic Pokemon. Okay, so what, you're dealing 160? It's not bad. That's 2-shotting your other tag teams.
Not the biggest Psychic club I've ever seen, but it's alright.
It's the Psychic. It is the Psychic gang. They're all hanging out. We got Psychic and 2 colorless plus Cross Division GX. Put 10 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon in any way you like. If this Pokemon has at least 3 extra energy attached to it, in addition to this cost, put 20 damage counters on them instead. Okay, I like the 20 damage a lot more. This is basically the Espeon GX, right?
It is,
Stage 1.
It's super juiced Espeon GX.
Yeah, that was apparently better than I thought, because I thought it was very mid. And it won a regionals. Xander, I believe. Good job to him. Yeah, okay. 10 damage counters is mid. 20 is a lot more, though. Like, 20 is a big difference, because you're knocking out their Tapu Lele and also softening something else up. That is
way different.
That is pretty cool. But you only get 1 GX attack a game. I gotta keep remembering that. Yeah. I see this, I'm like, oh yeah, I'll just like 20 and 20 and I'll win the game. It's like, no, you only get to this once. Which I think is another big thing. Like, spreading damage counters get so much better when you can just do it over and over again. And yeah, like that first attack, it's okay. I'm not in love with it.
Not sparking that much joy, yeah.
It's like pretty okay. I think you're playing this for GX attack, but then like, how much psychic acceleration was there? Was there much?
Yeah, there was.
Oh, actually, wait a second. I read the card. Has at least 3 extra energy.
Okay,
that
now
doesn't
we're
say
getting
psychic
somewhere.
energy. It doesn't say psychic energy, Henry.
It does not.
You can, and I saw some acceleration before that was for some fire energy.
Yeah.
I mean, still have to get 6 energy. Like, you're still getting, that is a lot of welders. I guess it's, what, you play 2 welders, 2 hand attaches, and you deal 20 damage counters, which is like probably getting you 2, maybe 3 prizes if there's like enough really squishy guys.
Get
Probably
lucky.
just like 2.5 prizes.
Yeah.
It's not bad. Sets up some damage, but like, you only get to do it once, and then the Espeon just like sits there, and it just kind of
dies,
sucks.
yeah. I guess if you use Psychic Club the first time, it could be like 3 prizes overall. Like you hit with Psychic Club once and then you cross divide.
But I've committed 6 energy onto this guy.
You have.
And that kind of sucks. I've committed 6 energy to take like 3 prizes, maybe 4 if I get a Psychic Club, and then spread the damage on like 2 weak guys. I could be doing GG End. I could be doing the Sylveon one. Okay. I don't think anyone's attacking with the Espeon and Deoxys. Like, it's just...
Yeah.
Because you do your big attack, but it's not like a game-winning thing like Sylveon. It's just... I mean, maybe it wins the game, but I don't think it's like the key thing. You're definitely not playing like a quad deck of this. No, I think it's like, maybe play it in one, like a psychic deck or something that can accelerate the extra energy, because like it is a cool attack, but this definitely isn't your main attacker. I don't think it's, because I don't want a psychic club if I'm not, I don't want to do that. That sucks.
No. Okay, so you don't think main attacker. Do you think it ever won a tournament?
I think you could play like one of this in a deck.
Okay.
I could see that. I could see one of like 20, especially if there's like a single prize deck or something. This is a really good answer to that. If there's like some random single prize deck running around or something with enough little guys,
yeah,
like that, then you can, like, if you're knocking out all of their attackers and all their supports with the GX attack, yeah, I think it's worth it. But maybe you just play like one of them. You're definitely not playing this as your main guy.
So it did win tournaments as a one of. It absolutely did. It was a really powerful one of. Counted a lot of those like little small HP decks, and you are right that it was powered up with a welder. Well, so it was a really big thing with cross division. So you managed to get that right. Just quickly as well, kind of interesting, just thematically with the tag teams that touch on. If you look at all of the tag teams that we're seeing, typically each Pokemon in general in the card game has their own like thematic attack. So they might, every time they're printed, they would have a similar type of attack. It might be spread, or it might be even the same attack each time. And so if you see tag teams, typically if they have 2 attacks, one will be inspired by one Pokemon and the other one by the other. And if they have 3, then usually it's like one of each and then a mix. And so, which is kind of cool. So you'll see like Nebula Espeon Deoxys. So Division GX that you mentioned, which was the Espeon's GX, this one kind of has the same thing. That comes from the Espeon.
Yeah, right. I can see it with Garchomp and Giratina. The GG end is like, that's Giratina's V-Star. Just delete the active.
Yep.
Although this is in a different way, obviously, but yeah. That's very cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. And then we've got, we're going to jump away from tag teams for one moment. We're going to look at a pretty cool card. We're going to look at Magcargo GX. So just brace yourself, Tim. This is a pretty interesting card. I want to see what you think about it. And I'm interested to see whether you think it managed to do well before or after Welder. That's my question for you on this one.
All right, Magcargo GX is a stage 1 GX, so yeah, back off the tag teams, 210 HP, seems like the standard. And we got ability Crushing Charge. Once during your turn, before you attack, you may discard the top card of your deck. If it's a basic energy, attach it to one of your Pokemon. Okay, that's Kyurem's ability, right? The Kyurem VMAX, I believe. So yeah, it's like,
right.
Okay, any basic energy though, not just fire. So it's pretty cool. I could power up my Sylveon with this. Pretty cool. And Lava Flow, 2 fire and a colorless, 50 damage plus. Discard any amount of basic energy from this Pokemon. This attack does 50 more damage for each card. Okay, so it's like a Chen Pao kind of thing. You need 3 to get it started, so you can't do any small hits, but it's fine. You're easily hitting you're easily hitting like 300 or something, which is, knocking out the tag teams. That's pretty good. I could see it. 6 energy, like 300 damage for 6 actually, like, and you're getting 1 for free with the ability if you've got some way to like fix the top of your deck. Also got a GX attack, 1 fire. Oh, I'm used to seeing the plus as well, but that's only for tag teams, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So 1 fire energy. Discard the top 5 cards of your opponent's deck. That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like, just to like 5 is a lot. Like, there are a lot of games that come down to. Especially if they're playing multiple Dedenes and they're just getting down to that final part. Like, There are so many games with Regidrago V-Star right now where they just have like a couple cards in deck, and if you tech in your Makago, and they're like, they don't realize the card's illegal because it's from years ago, but you just threw in a Makago, you would win the Regidrago mirror for sure.
100%.
That is pretty cool. I like the ability, so you're guaranteed to discard the top card, so it's always deck thinning anyway, but I assume you're only doing this if you can like fix the top card of your deck. And was this good before Welder? I don't know. I mean, you'd have to have another way to get, I feel like you need to hit like 5 or 6 energy to like really be good, because this is one of the few cards that it seems like where you can actually one-shot things and take prizes. Like the GGN, you get to one-shot things to deal with them, but you're taking 3 prizes if you get 6 energy on this guy. And also, Makago is just like a cool Pokemon. Gotta be one of my favorites. Get a Makago plushie sitting up there somewhere.
He's pretty cool.
Was it good before Welder though? Alright, I think, you know what? I'm kind of stuck on this GX Attack 2 a bit. This seems pretty cool. Like, I don't know, like, because a control deck, right? Like they play, now they play like Chi-Yu or something, Mewtwo, but it's usually just to end the game. Like you just, because you have to win the game with control at some point. And I don't know if there was like a Pidgeot V type Pokemon that stops you from easily getting decked out. But this is a great way to just accelerate those last 5 cards rather than having to tank 5 more turns with a control deck. And I know there was a control deck because we talked about the Sylveon GX, I believe. And you just throw 1 fire energy on it. It's very low commitment. Better than the... and you're probably not attacking anyway, so you don't carry your GX marker. That seems pretty... I could see it being used for that. I don't know if you're lava flowing without the Welder or all the other fire support, though. I don't think you are. I think it's... Because you got to discard all the energy too. Like, you got to keep refilling it. That's a lot. And, this guy's stage 1, not particularly tanky. Maybe for Burning Magma. I reckon if it saw play before Welder, it was for Burning Magma. And I could see, like, some Makago-y deck just slotting into, like, a 1-1 or, like, a 2-2 line for the Welder, maybe. Just to hit those really big numbers. But, yeah, I think before Welder, I reckon it saw play as a 1-of in a control deck or something like that. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So... pretty much spot on. So it didn't really see play before Welder. And then it did see play for both Lava Flow and Burning Magma. So it saw play for Lava Flow with Welder. And eventually you were able to control the top deck with a Rangaroo, which came out in Sword and Shield, which you would know.
I do know that one.
And then Burning Magma was actually used in an aggressive mill deck. There was an aggressive mill deck that used Burning Magma to end the game. At the end. So you're right on pretty much both counts. Pretty good. Okay,
yeah. So was it something? So it was something that control decks would play before. Was it just the aggressive mill deck that kind of included this?
Control decks back then were basically like run you out of resources.
Yeah, it runs you out of resources. They lose 5 cards from their deck.
And it did win a tournament Magcargo with Lava Flow. So it did manage to attacking Magcargo.
How thick was the line for that one?
There was just one Magcargo.
Oh, so just a 1-1?
There was just one Magcargo.
Okay.
So we'll look at Solgaleo GX next.
Okay, well, let's see. It's a stage 2 GX. All right, been a while since I've seen a stage 2 GX. I feel like a lot of these have been stage 1s. 250 HP, so it's up there with the tag teams. And it's only giving up 2 prizes, right? That's pretty good. I'm a big tanky guy. But, weakness to fire. Makago absolutely owns this guy. Terrible card. Shiny... I've read the ability. I might have gotten a little bit ahead of myself. Your Pokemon in play have no weakness. Alright, Makago is back in the bin. This doesn't work.
He's back in the bin.
Yeah, Pokemon in play have no... So, quickly, how relevant was weakness at this time of the game? Because, I mean, right now, it feels like in Pokemon, the weakness doesn't usually matter too much for a lot of the decks. Your tech attack is in, but it's not necessarily like, oh yeah, I just, like, lose. But other than, like, UV Maximum was a very big one where, like, you could tech in a dark Pokemon as an answer.
Definitely much more like we talked about with tag teams. Like, weakness is a really big deal. And if you're not getting one shot, like in a one shot format, no one cares about weakness. But in a 2-shot format, it's really significant. And so we're kind of lucky that weakness doesn't matter that much now. But back then it was really...
Okay, right. Because, yeah, it feels like now the biggest thing with weakness is like, Iron Hands takes 3.
Yeah.
2 colorless, Turbo Strike, 120 damage. Attach 2 basic energy cards from your discard pile to one of your benched Pokemon. Okay. So yeah, I guess you aren't really using double colors for this because you want to have basic energy in the discard. But you could use Welder.
Yeah.
Because it's a... That's... I don't know. This seems like a... It's giving me Arceus V-Star kind of. And, 2 colorless for the GX. Heal all damage from all of your Pokemon. That is pretty good. It has setting up attacks, especially in 2-shot format. And if you've got no weakness, like, you're not getting one-shot ever because of the no weakness. They have to shoot everything, and you just get to swap around your guys, hope they don't play Guzma, and you can heal everything and just undo all of their stuff. It's not bad. I do like it for some acceleration as well. But it's a stage 2, and that is a lot. I don't love that it's a stage 2. It's like, I don't want to be doing this. Like Arceus V-Star, it was cool because the basic Arceus V as well had a way to charge up. You just put double turbo energy on, you get 3 basic energies from the deck, attach them to your V Pokemon. And the V-Star could also do the same. You could also charge up with Trinity Charge, or Trinity Charge was the basic one, and then whatever the other one was, yeah. But I don't like that you have to do it on a stage 2, because you can't do this on your first turn going second. And, you know, you gotta be pretty lucky to do this on your second turn going first as well. Like, you gotta evolve up to a stage 2, you need rare candy or something. And it's from your discard, not from your deck, so you also have to, like, go on kind of fast, which I guess you do with Dedenne, but then do you really want to be playing something like this with that? Maybe if weakness is super relevant and you want to be tanking hits, I could see it in like a... You know what? No, you play it in Pheromosa Buzzwole. So you get rid of that fire weakness, it's a big problem. Brilliant. Get rid of that fire weakness that's really holding it back, and you get to accelerate that energy, you get to your 8 energy attack. I've solved it. I'm not that sold on this. No, I don't think this is that great. Depends how relevant weakness is really, but I don't think you're turbo striking too much. 120 is like okay. It's okay, so but I don't like it. Right. No.
Yeah, so this didn't see a massive amount of play for a long time and from when it was released. So stage 2s weren't very good. Throughout all of this era, when Pokemon are as powerful as tag teams, stage 2s were good. It did see some play in some stage 2 decks, and it was okay. Maybe like tier 3, but it wasn't great. But Turbo Strike ended up actually being used a lot, and this card won countless amounts of tournaments. But not quite in that. Shining Mane never got used. Prominence never really got used. I want you to have a think and tell me, do you think this card now, our final card of the day, the Encore, do you think this one was any good?
I do know this card, Henry. I know this card. Mewtwo and Mew GX. I've been waiting for it. Tag team, 270 HP on a Psychic. Ability, Perfection. I've heard that one before. This Pokemon can use the attacks of any Pokemon GX or Pokemon EX on your bench or in your discard. And that includes the GX attacks, right? Not just their regular attacks?
Includes the GX attacks.
That's crazy. And we've also got 2 Psychic and 1 Colors plus Miraculous Duo GX. 200 damage. If this Pokemon has at least 1 extra energy attached to it, in addition to this attack cost, heal all damage from all of your... Wait, heal all damage from all of your Pokemon in play? Yeah. That's so much better than... So that's just like completely owned Solgaleo.
Yeah, it's Prominence, but Prominence does 200 damage.
That's insane. Oh my god. Yeah. Wow. Yes. Okay, I didn't realize that. So you could copy... So you'd copy Turbo Strike with this then, with Perfection.
You would be correct.
That's pretty cool. But I couldn't play greens with Perfection, so I don't know why you're playing this card, Henry. I don't know why you played Mewtwo and Mew.
Unfortunately, you can play the other broken supporter, Welder, and all the fire support, and it was really strong. You notice all of the things I've sent recently, all the Pokemon we've been looking at. Solgaleo, Magcargo, Espeon Deoxys, because it allowed you... Like we talked about, you don't want to put 6 energy on an Espeon Deoxys because Psychic Club's really bad. If you also have Lava Flow and you go Cross Divide and then you discard all 6 energy to deal 350 damage, suddenly it seems a whole lot better. So, I mean, obviously, as you can probably tell, this card's super broken. As we can see, even with like Drago V-Star at the moment, just as soon as you have the right attackers, but it's a little bit different from Drago, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Well, I think Drago always felt like it was limited by there was only so many good Dragon Pokemon until obviously Dragapult came out and, you know, Teal Mask Ogre helped to enable it a bit too. But this is any Pokemon GX, any Pokemon EX, and also on your bench, which is, you know, that kind of matters too. It's not just your discard. Like, worst case, a lot of these are basics too, these tag teams. So if I don't have a way to discard my Espeon and Deoxys, I can just chuck it on the bench, right? Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be running like 4 Research, 4 Ultra Ball, all that stuff. Although maybe you do. Well, you don't play the Research. You're playing Welder.
You have Dedenne, don't forget.
You do have Dedenne. So you do have Dedenne, and you don't wait. Tax a Pokemon EX on your bench. So you need the energy. Yeah, you need the energy still.
So that's
so
a
you
big
need to
difference.
slap. You do need to play a Lightning Energy to do some tingly return. But
yeah, but I mean that's what kind of made it interesting to deck build, because with Regidrago, it's like you got all the dragons and the attack cost is fixed. So you just decide if you want a dragon or not. But if you want a new attack in Mewtwo, you have to really make sure your deck's able to use it. And so it was really fun trying to figure it out. And eventually we settled on just Psychic Energy and Fire Energy as like the main attacks without messing around with anything else. But it was cool to have a different thing to build. And you also got to maybe include some lower energy attacks like Turbo Strike rather than just fixate on that 3 energy dragon.
really cool. That just seemed really cool. It reminds me a lot of the Ditto from Pokemon Go, which I keep trying to make work. You know, I haven't quite got there yet, but I made some fun stuff with it, and it's really cool. Like, oh, I just, you know, these attacks share the same cost, so I can just slap all the energy onto it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, you never wanted to play Beast Game GX with this guy. You just throw him one grass, and then you get your 7 fire energy. Can you make that work?
Yeah, you could. You 100% could. So it might be a little bit difficult, but you could. And the reason why Cross Divide was so broken as well is because you could play a supporter on the first turn. Same as Welder. I think that's why that was so good. It's because you could start your turn, and before your opponent even gets a turn, you have 3 energy on your Pokemon.
I did not even think about turn 1 Welder going first. Okay.
Yeah.
That's so... Because then on your second turn, like, say they're playing a stage 1 deck, they've got their little fellas to evolve. Okay, that makes it sound so much better.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just go Welder, attach, next turn, Welder, attach. Actually, I'm going to do 20 damage and just delete all of your baby guys before they evolve because I went first and just completely owned you.
Yep, you can kill 3 basic Pokemon on... It's kind of like Kyurem. Yeah, it's kind of like Kyurem, but you couldn't be blocked. So,
yeah.
It was
well,
insane.
I mean, I assume there was no Jirachi or something in that format, right?
No.
Yeah, okay.
There was a stadium that
crazy.
blocked it, but, I mean, you were already playing 4 stadiums anyway, so...
Yeah. Yeah, that is insane. Yeah, I also didn't realize, I didn't know the GX tag for this. I knew about Perfection. I didn't know the GX tag. Did that come up much? Where you just fully heal everything?
Yeah, there was some spread decks, like one price spread decks that it just straight up beat, basically, so...
Oh, yeah, that is a difference between, you know, Regidrago as well, because that's an attack Apex Dragon that's using, whereas this is an ability. Yeah, that's, so if there's ability lock, yeah. But it, you know, has its own attack to suit itself. No, I just can't believe you sent me this after the Sol Galio. So I just see Prominence GX. I'm like, oh, maybe that could work. I see this. I'm like, oh, so you also deal 200 damage. Sick.
Way better. So, yeah, this, I mean, obviously this card was broken and it won countless tournaments. But you got to use a lot of different attacks as a result. Like, you mentioned Burning Magma, just randomly stealing games, and it absolutely did. I won a game at the World Championships with Burning Magma because my opponent had 4 cards in deck. So I just got my GX counter and win. Magcargo Lava Flow was actually the final attack used in 2019 World Championships. So that was kind of cool, but you could also use Lava Flow like on turn 1 for 200 damage. And so that would knock out 2 prize EXs and GXs straight away. So yeah, Mewtwo and Mew, obviously, pretty good card, but it put a lot of the other things that didn't have a ton of success before and really got to shine a light on them. Same with Regidrago, same how that's doing.
Yeah, especially with like the Noivern EX and stuff. A few cool attackers come up like that.
Yeah.
It is really cool. Did your opponent that you beat with Burning Magma, did they know you were playing the Magcargo, or were they just like completely came out of nowhere?
I think they did. I think it was kind of like hard to avoid it, but also it was the first game they played against.
That's pretty funny. I would love to see someone's reaction when they didn't know you played the Magcargo and just like, yep, I'm gonna bench this guy and I win.
I know, it would have been really funny. But yeah, so I hope you kind of enjoyed this little foray. There are so many cards that could have been mentioned, but these are the kind of the highlights, at least from my eyes, that I got to use a lot. So it's nice and fun for me to show you all the things I got to mess around with.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, look, I'd love to see some more of these. I'm sure there's so many more cards. Look, we only went through 20, I believe, total. So sure, heaps more. And I'd love to keep learning about Sun and Moon. Maybe even play some at some point, you know? I think this kind of inspired me to go maybe try one of the older formats and just see, because I want to go build either the Buzzwole or the Sylveon. I'll make it work, don't worry. So I'm gonna take 4 prize turns. It's gonna be insane.
You can do it.
But yeah, thank you so much for your time though, Henry.
Pleasure.
It's been great learning. Been a great history lesson. Is there anything that you wanted to plug or shout out? You know, anything like that? Or where can people find you if they want to hear more of your voice?
Yeah, guys. You can feel free to follow me on X or Twitter at BinaryBrand. That's pretty much where I post most of my updates. You'll be able to see anytime I stream or post videos. Or say something about Pokemon, you can just go find it there.
Really appreciate it, Henry. It's been great.
Pleasure.
Really great.